Hey, good morning, everyone. So we'll get started. Before we get started, do you have any question? Okay, so we're gonna start on chapter 3 today. So first of all, let me give you a summary of what's on chapter 3, and then we go from there. Now we're gonna talk about some Excel operations, about the mean, median, mode, also how to find a z-score in Excel. Okay. So let me share the screen with you really quickly. So let's do a quick summary of chapter 3, which is on a measure of the center and a variation. So in terms of measure of the center, this is one of the major topic in chapter 3. Measure of center, we use several terms. First one is called mean. Second one is median. Third one is mode. We also have something like mid-range. Mid-range. So the mean is average, right? Average of all the data values. The median is middle of you sort the data set and put in the increasing order. The middle one is the median. Mode is the number appears most frequently. Most frequently. And then the mid-range is the maximum value plus minimum value and divided by 2. We also have something like range, that's about measure of the variation. So let's talk about some of the key terms we use to measure of the variation. And I'm going to give you the example on how to calculate all of these numbers by hand. Measure of the variation. So most important thing is standard deviation. Basically, standard deviation measures consistency among the data values. Among all data values. And then we also have variance. Okay. So variance is basically the standard deviation squared. So if you square the standard deviation, that's variance. Okay. So they are closely related to each other. So you find one of them, you find the other one. We also have a term called range. The range is the maximum value minus minimum value. Okay. And also we have a z-score, right? So quickly, z-score actually helps us locate a relative standing of each data values within a data set. So z-score is used to measure the relative standing of each data value. And then z-score formula for the sample. So for chapter 3, we deal with a sample. So z-score equal to data value minus sample mean over sample standard deviation. And for the population, and in chapter 6, we're going to mainly concentrate on the population. Then the z-score is equal to data value minus population mean over population standard deviation. Here, x bar represents sample mean. S represents the sample standard deviation. And then mu here is population mean. And sigma is what we call the population standard deviation. Now I'm going to give you an example. All right, so let's say we have a data set, right? This data set has 5 numbers, and then we're going to go through all of these calculations. Data set, say 3, 5, 7, 7, 8, right? So the data set have 5 values, and here we first of all let's find the mean. Mean we use a symbol x bar to represent the mean. So basically, you just sum up all the data values, summation of x over sample size. So here the sample size is, since we have 5 numbers, sample size is 5. And also it's already sorted in the increasing order, so it's good to go. And typically when you have a data set, you always want to sort it and put it into the increasing order first, or decreasing order, whichever you prefer. Okay, so this symbol means sum up, summation sign, right? So sum up all. So we're basically adding 3, adding 5, adding 7, 7, and 8, and dividing by sample size, that's 5. Okay. So if you sum up that should be 30 by 5. So the mean here, the average here is 6, right? So we find that first. And then median, next thing is finding the median. Median, the middle value. So we have a odd sample size, right? The sample size is odd. So the middle one, this middle one is the median. So here median, we use x tilde with the curly wave on top. So median is 7. And then the mode, we use capital letter M to represent the mode. So 7 appears twice, so the mode is 7. Okay. All right. Now mid-range, right? Mid-range, we're using the minimum value. So minimum value in this case is 3. Maximum value is 8. So you average those two. So mid-range equal to max value plus minimum value divided by 2. So this is a plus 3 by 2. So 11 over 2, 5.5. If you look at all these numbers, right, mean, median, mode, they all kind of pretty consistent, even with the mid-range, right? They are still quite close. That tells something about this data set, meaning the center is pretty consistent, right? Among all these different, like using all these different terms. Okay, then the next thing is the standard deviation. So we're going to calculate the standard deviation. So there are a couple formulas. I'm going to show you both methods using abbreviation SD to represent the standard deviation. So standard deviation using S, right? It's a sample. So first formula, we have n. Okay, it's this one. Sum of x minus x bar square divided by sample size minus 1. Okay. And the second formula, standard deviation equal to sample size times summation of x squared minus summation x squared dividing by sample size times sample size minus 1. All right, so I'm going to show you both methods to calculate the standard deviation. And actually, this one is called shortcut formula, meaning theoretically, this method will help us find the standard deviation much quicker. And I'm going to show you why this is the case. Although the formula looks slightly more complicated, but actually it's shortcut formula. All right, so first of all, I'm gonna put in, typically we create a table. So for this method, we need a mean, right? And we know the mean already. So if you want, you do this. Okay, create a table, put all the data values here. Okay, so 3, 5, 7, 7, 8. If you want, you can put in the mean, right? Right next to it, sample mean is 6. And then we need to calculate a couple of things, right? Like we want to do it really step by step.
I'm sorry, where did the 6 come from?
It's a sample mean. Remember we calculated that earlier. We're
Okay.
still using the same data set, right? That doesn't change. So I'm gonna use the same data set to show you how to calculate all of this, right? So go back to, so we stick with this. Okay, so sample mean we calculate already.
Got it. Thank you.
Very good. So now we have that. Let's go back a little bit. So we need a couple of things. First one is find the difference. Second one is square that, right? Once you do that, then we'll go then. All right, square that. So 3 minus 6 is -3. Okay, and then 5 minus 6 is -1. 7 minus 6 is 1. 7 minus 6, 1. 8 minus 6, 2. Okay. And then after square, right, all these negative number become positive. So -3 square, applying the, putting the parentheses, that becomes +9. Okay, -1 square will become 1. 1 square is 1. 1 square is still 1. 2 square, that's 4. All right, so we finished the prep work. So what we have to do is sum up the last column here. So summation of this last column is what we call summation of x data value minus mean square. Okay, so we square that and we sum up all the square terms. So add up that 9 plus 1, 10, 11, 12, 16. Okay. And then we know the sample size, that's 5. Okay, so now we ready to calculate this, right? This result. So all you have to do is put in this. So we get a square root of 16 over 5 minus 1. And that turned out to be 16 over 4, which is radical 4. And so the answer is 2. Okay, so the standard deviation is 2, right? So the key thing about the interpretation of the standard deviation is the bigger the number, the bigger the variation. So in this case, 2 is not very big, right? So the variation is not very big. If you also look at the data size of 3 to 5, 5 to 7, and it's not a big variation here. So that's why the standard deviation is kind of small. Okay. And second method, all we need is 2 column. Okay. Still same data set. Just need 2 column. 3, 5, 7, 7, 8. You can also try this in Excel, right? Yourself, no problem. All right. Now we square each one of the number. So 3 square get us 9, 25, 49, 49, and then 64, right? So we need to sum up two things. Okay, so we need to sum up the first column. We get a summation of x. We know that that's 30, right? We did that already from the previous calculation. See, total sum of the x, total of the x is, total of all the data values 30. Okay, then get that. Then we square sum of the square term. So then it's so much quicker to do it in Excel, but still, right? You still need to learn how to do it by hand. Plus 64, that turned out to be 196. Okay. right. So now let's go back. So we ready to calculate this, okay, using the second formula. So we have square root of sample size is 5 times 196. Summation of x squared is this item, 196. Minus summation x is 30, and square that. That's 5 times 5 minus 1. Let's do it step by step. You'll see how they arrive at the same result. So 5 times 196 turned out to be 980. And then 30 squared is 900. Okay, now we got a 5 times 4, that's 20. And we have a 80 on top, 20 on the bottom. So it's exactly 4, right? So it's radical 4. Result is also 2. So if you compare these two methods, okay, the second formula, we only need 2 columns, right? And then we will also get a job done. Although the number maybe the formula looks slightly more complicated, but yeah, this is actually what they call a shortcut formula, and totally up to you, right? You can pick either method; they are equally good. The only thing is, most of the time, the sample mean may not be a well-running number, may not be 6 exactly, right? Most of the time, when you have a data set, your sample mean is probably something else, maybe a decimal number, right, with infinitely many decimal places. So that creates some difficulty when you're using the first method. And that's most common case, you always have to deal with a not so sophisticated, sample mean. By using the shortcut formula, you are avoiding the sample mean, right? You're actually eliminating the element from your calculation completely. So that actually could create some convenience. Okay. And also the z-score, right? So the z-score, since we know the sample mean, so again, data set, we're still using the same data set, right? 3, 5, 7, 7, 8. Yeah. Now let me show you how to calculate the z-score really quickly. Now we know 2 things. So each one of these is a data value. We usually use X to represent to represent the overall data set. Okay. So the z-score formula is X value minus sample mean over standard deviation, sample standard deviation. And from the previous calculation, we know sample mean is 6 and standard deviation S is 2, right? We just did it step by step, right? So we have those numbers. So now in terms of first number, 3. So for first number, data 3, right? So we have data itself is 3 minus sample mean 6 divided by standard deviation 2. So it's negative 3 over 2. So negative 1.5. So this negative 1.5, this number indicates data value 3 is 1.5 standard deviation below the mean. Okay, so this gives us a relative standing of the data value, right? So we know that compared to the mean, the location of the data value below the mean. Okay, so this is exactly the interpretation. So negative meaning below. If it is positive, it's above the mean. Now let's take a look at the second data value, 5. It's still below the mean, right? Because it's smaller than sample mean 6. So z-score here equal to data value x minus x bar over standard deviation. So that's 5 minus 6 by 2. So this is negative 1 over 2. So this is negative 0.5. So what this tells us is data value 5 is 0.5 standard deviation below the mean. Again, it's below the mean because smaller than the mean. And think about this. We have very small data set, only 5 data values. What if you have a million data values? Then actually this is very useful information. So each data value have a corresponding location, right, compared to the mean. So that's why this is quite useful. Actually, matter of fact, standard deviation and mean is very, very important elements in terms of the data analysis. Anytime we perform data analysis, those two are always needed. Also, you will build based on all those, important piece of elements. Okay, so now let's move on to next number, right? 7. So data value 7, we have a couple of them. So we can just calculate one of them. That's good enough. So data value 7. And this one is above the mean. So x minus x bar over standard deviation. So 7 minus 6 by 2. So this turned out to be half. So now it's positive. So what this tells us is data value 7 is 0.5 standard deviation above the mean because it's bigger than the mean. And then the last one is 8.
Wait, Professor.
Yep, go ahead.
I thought the mean was 6.
Yeah, it is 6, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
6.
Then how is how is it bigger than
Yeah, 7
6?
is bigger than 6, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? So that's why it's above the mean. So if you look at the number line here, right? The mean 6 is here, and 3, that's 5, right? 7 is right here. On the right-hand side, it's above the mean, right? And
I
8
thought it was
is on the
answer
right.
doing. Oh, okay.
Okay. So mean is the center, right? So you compare all this number with the center to give the to present a relative standing of that particular data value. All right, very good. So and the last number, which is data value 8. Okay. Again, z-score equal to x minus x bar over sample standard deviation. So it's a minus 6 by 2. So that turned out to be 2, right? Okay, so that means, no, it's 1. Sorry, yeah. It's this one is 1 standard deviation above the mean. Yeah, so 2 over 2, that's 1. So this, what this tells us is data value 8, which is the maximum value in our data set, is 1 standard deviation above the mean, meaning it's bigger than the mean. Okay. Any question on any of this? Okay. Also, we talk about something which is help us locating compare the different variations among different data set, right? We're using this term called coefficient variation. So basically, if you want to compare the variation among different data set, we can use this term. So we're using abbreviation C.V, right? CV, so it's sample standard deviation over sample mean. So in this case, our sample standard deviation is 2, mean is 6, right? So this is 1/3, which is 0.3333. And okay, and this is approximately 33%, 33.3%. Meaning the coefficient of the variation is 33.3%. And the bigger the number, the bigger the variation. So that's what this tells us. So if let's say we have another data set, we compute a coefficient of the variation, which is smaller than that, meaning that data set has a smaller variation. Okay. So any question about all the calculation we did and all these terms we summarized? And also typically, right, we consider this, if let's say this is a bell curve, and the bell curve, this is center, right? The mean is center. And let's say this is 2 standard deviation. This is mean, x bar. X bar plus 2s, that's 2 standard deviation above the mean. And then the other side is 2 standard deviation below the mean. And typically we call this a normal values. So if the data value is between sample mean minus 2 standard deviation and then less than sample mean plus 2 standard deviation, then this means this is normal values or normal range. Or you can also say that usual value, right? Usual value. Meaning data value are most likely to occur or to happen if we within that range. And on the two tails, these are usual values. Meaning this is highly unlikely. Unusual value is usually highly unlikely. And this is what we typically call outliers, right? If you're connecting with the concept. If this occurs, we have unusual values, usually it's a potential outlier. Meaning if it is above 2 standard deviation or below the 2 standard deviation on the left, then it's unusual values. It's typically a potential outlier. So any question about this? So that could give us a breakdown of all the usual values, right? Usually in the center, 2 standard deviation within below the mean and above the mean. That's usual value. And if it's above positive 2 standard deviation or below negative 2 standard deviation, those are the unusual values, and they are potential outliers. Any question about this? Okay. Now let's go to let's analyze one of the actual data sets, right? I want you to go to Blackboard. Now open this one. It's within our Blackboard course, go to the Excel practice, right? This one, and open the histogram demo. Okay. All right, let's open that. Now let's perform a similar analysis from this data set. Open that file. I already opened it. Let me share with you. Okay, this is the new data set. It's about the temperature, right? We have a data represents actual high temperature for 14 consecutive days, and use the 14 actual consecutive days to construct the histogram using 4 classes. So maybe let's quickly review how we create a histogram, and also I'm going to show you how to calculate mean, median, mode, range, everything within the using this particular data set. So if you want, you can sort this data set, right? Put it into the increasing order. So one more time, sort and filter, sort from smallest to largest. Okay, so now we have data set. Okay, arranging in the increasing order, right? Start with the minimum value. So this is the minimum value, and we also have a maximum value here. Okay, so try that yourself as well, so you get more practice. So now, first thing, in order to construct the histogram, right, we need to know the what we call it class width. Okay, so class width, we're using this formula. It's maximum minus minimum, and divide by number of classes. Here we want to use 4 classes, to divide by 4. So the actual calculation should be, so let's find that. Okay. So this turned out to be, so using maximum value, which is 89 minus minimum value 51, and dividing by 4. Okay, so get 9.5. So again, since it's 9.5, so we're going to run up. So the actual class width, right, should be approximately 10. Okay, we're not using, so even, yeah, maybe let me just, okay, so we're using 10 as a class width. Okay, so now from there we're just gonna, since we know the class width, we know the starting point, so here we can start with the 51 or we can start with 50, right? Either one we like. So I guess I will start with the 51, the minimum value here. So now go to insert and you create a pivot table. So click on pivot table. Now we're gonna select all the data, right, table. Okay, so let's use the entire data set. Okay, and we're gonna put a table in the existing location. We're gonna put it underneath this.
Sorry, do you mind just like slowing down a notch?
Oh, sure, definitely. So one more time, we go to insert, right? And then you click on pivot table. Okay. And then if you're using the Mac, a Mac is slightly different, right? And this is again, it's from Windows. So if you're using Mac, it's there, right? It's definitely there. It just some of the settings is slightly different.
Actually, the video you sent me, this is Nell speaking. The video you sent me on YouTube with the pivot table, it still wouldn't let me. So I'm not sure if it's just my version of my computer.
Okay, I see. So no problem. If you cannot using the pivot table, no problem. Do it manually, right? Just create a, just like how we do it by hand. Do it manually and get a table, and then we can insert a histogram from there. No problem. I won't penalize you since your 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 Mac doesn't cooperate. No problem. Yeah. Okay. So again, one more time, go to insert, pivot table. Now you're going to select the data, the table, right? This entire table here. Go get that. And then we put in the existing worksheet. Pick one, I pick it underneath it. Okay. Now from there, we're good to go. Okay, so we're going to have a pivot table. Now select this, the numbers, and put into the column, right? No, not column, my bad. It's put into a row. So drag this data and the data set, right, with the 51, drag it with a row. Okay. Now we get all these numbers put into, oh, I overlooked something. So we actually do need a title here. All right, so let me go back a little bit. Title is needed. Otherwise, 51 will become title, which is not good. So let me go back a little bit. One more time, insert, pivot table. When you select the table, including the title, right? Temperature. Okay, so the title is needed here. So then we select the entire table, including the title. Now we'll put in the existing worksheet. So put it underneath it here, then click on OK. All right, now check the temperature, right? And then you're gonna drag it, put it into a row. Okay, and we get that. That's first move. Now we, first of all, we're gonna click on either one of these number, 51, 59, any of the number here, and right click on it, you're gonna see a group. Now this is how we condense the table and put into classes, different classes using the class width and then the starting point. Now underneath the, we're starting at 51, that's good. Ending at 89, good to go by 10, right? Because class width is 10. So by 10 meaning using a class width of 10. Now we're good to go. Click on OK. And here you go. We got 4 classes. Each class has a class width of 10, right? And then again, this is sum of the temperature. We don't want to sum, right? We want to count. We want to count how many data values fall in each class. So here, right click on this, and you're going to see value field settings, right? See that option, click on it. Then you see we do count, okay? Not a sum, right? We do not want sum of that, all those temperatures. We just want count. We just want Excel to count how many data values fall in the first class, how many data values fall in the second class, third class, fourth class. Okay, and click on OK. Now here you go. Excel will count it for you. So as you can see, you see 3 numbers fall in the first class. We can also double check it, right? Just quickly check it. 6 numbers fall in the second class, 3 numbers fall in the third class, 2 numbers fall in the last class. Yes, so it's good. And if you want, you can just change the title to classes. And then here is frequencies corresponding with each class. Okay. And then the total is 14, right? We know that the sample size is 14, then this is good, meaning the table is pretty good. So now again, we'll format it a little bit, make it bold it, and then put in the all borders. Okay. Now we have this frequency distribution table then ready to work. Okay, frequency distribution table.
Can you please slow down?
I'm sorry.
Can you please slow down?
Slow down. Sure. Yeah. So, so this is a frequency distribution table. I'm just trying to give you the sense what we are doing here. So we get that table. Okay. And from here, you highlight the table, right? Do not include a grand total, right? Just highlight the entire table with all the classes and frequencies. Okay. Now from there, we go to insert, then go to the first one, 2D columns, right? So you're gonna pick the first option, 2D columns. Okay, we got that. And let me put it on the side so you can see that. Okay, everybody following so far.
Whenever I put my table in, it's like only giving me one number, like even when I select all the data.
You probably didn't, I mean, okay, so maybe it's because you didn't do this. Let me just go back real quickly. Maybe you didn't do the value field. Did you group it?
Did I group what? No, like when I'm first putting in the pivot table, it just like it keeps on just giving me like a random under the count template. Like there's like I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
You mean when you first created the pivot table?
Yeah, I don't know if like the settings are wrong in my pivot table or whatever. I don't know.
Okay, one more time. You go to okay. I can do it one more time.
Sorry.
So follow this closely, right? Okay, I'm gonna go to insert and then pivot table, right? Now you see select the table range. Then you need to click on this tiny little symbol here, right? With the direction arrow, click on that. I'm gonna highlight the entire table here. Okay, did you do that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did.
Okay, very good. So now, the second thing, you're gonna pick you're gonna put a pivot table in the existing worksheet. Okay, now also click on that. I'm gonna create another one and just underneath it. Okay, right here. So I put in E14 right underneath the earlier table I create. You can now click on OK. So now you're gonna see something like this. Do you see something like this?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So now you're gonna check the temperature first. Right? Check the temperature.
Yep, I did that.
Yeah, you put it into the row, right? Did you do that?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay, very good. So now we have this, and here you're gonna do group. Okay. And also you're gonna put temperature in the total values. right? Put this temperature into the sum of the values. Okay, then you're gonna see a table like this. Now click on group. Starting at 51, ending at 89, good, right? We start with the first number 51, and then by 10, meaning class width is 10. Did you do that?
I think that's where I messed it up. Sorry.
Okay, try that. Put in the first, okay. Then click on OK, and this will come up. Okay, and also here you need to do, it's not the, we need to count the temperature. So you're gonna go to value field settings, and then instead of sum, the default is sum, but we don't want sum, right? We want to count, meaning you're counting how many, the amount of data value for in the first class, amount of data value for in the second class, third class, fourth class. So you count, click on OK. Now this table will be legit. Okay, so classes first, and then frequencies. We just change the title, right, to that. Okay, so yeah, the total is 14, means the sample size is 14. That confirm, which is good, meaning everything you did so far is good. Okay. Now, yeah, once we have that, then you're ready to create a histogram, right, from this table here. So one more time, you're gonna highlight this table with the title, classes, and frequencies. Do not include grand total, right? That's actually not needed here. Okay, so go to insert and then click on first option under the 2D column. Okay, it's the bar diagram, right? The first type of graph from the insert option. Then click on 2D column. And again, once you have that, we still got to do a couple things, right? We still got to resize it, right? So we don't want a gap between these. So if you just highlight each one, any one of these rectangle box, and right click on it, and then you do select it, no, okay. Format data point, right? And this option will pop up on the side, and then you just reduce the gap width to 0%. Now you see they all come together. But again, if once you do that, you know, since the border is not very obvious, it's not, so we can still get to modify a little bit on the border. So here border, right? So if you want, you can put a solid line and then put different colors for the border. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay. Well, that's for that border. Okay. We still get to modify a little bit here. So go to plus. If you change, you can change axis titles, right? If you check it, now you can change it. It's histogram of temperature. Okay. Then axis title, this is classes. As I mentioned, you can do a lot of modification here and frequencies. Okay. You can modify the different, using different colors, any colors you like. Right, you can do that. Right. Okay. And still, we still didn't get rid of that issue yet. So let me just show you fill borders, yeah. Transparencies, shadows, glow. Okay. Yeah, here you go. Actually, you see the border. Actually, see using different colors, you can just change the border here. I did apply that earlier, and you can change to other colors if you don't like this particular color. You know, you can use different colors, just separate them. And there are so many different ways to, you know, want to run colors. So a lot of things we could do here. just play around with it, right? So come up with anything you like, You can also pick a different, usually you can pick a design here, right? But you can have a custom design yourself, or you can stick with whatever you have. No problem, totally up to you. Just make sure, at least this border is obvious, right? So we separate different classes. And again, a lot of things we can do, right? Trend line, you can put in the trend line here, but it's not needed. So data table, if you want to put a data table underneath it, like classes, frequency, classes, frequency, classes, frequency, you can do that. Data labels, right? Put a label all these frequencies on top of each bar diagram. Yep. So again, a lot of things we play around with it. So any question on how to create this histogram? Okay. And from there, we can also create a pie chart, right? So highlight the table, just the table itself without title, and then go to insert, then you're going to see a pie chart. Okay. And again, you can pick a different design here, right? If you want to list all the percentage here, you can do that. A lot of different design, I guess. I can pick, yeah, this one is better with the classes and also corresponding percentage. That gives us clear indication which one has the most data values. This one has 43%, and this two has about 22%, 14%. Okay, and this is what we did last time, right? I just quick review this, but today we're gonna do something else. We're gonna calculate the mean, remember, mean, median in the second part of your second project, and the mode. And I'm also, what else it's asked in the project. I'm gonna do that as well. Okay. Also z-score, right? I'm also going to show you how to calculate the z-score. But let me quickly take a look at project number 2. Range, variance, standard deviation. Okay. Range, variance, standard deviation. So go back again, right here. Okay, range, variance, and standard deviation. Okay, that's D, right? Okay, so now let's calculate those 6 different things here. Most very important thing here. So highlight it, table, center. Okay, so I'm gonna make it slightly bigger so I can see that today. Maybe 18. Okay, 18 looks good. So the first thing is calculating the mean. So the mean using this formula average. Okay. Once you type in the average, you are calculating the mean basically. So you highlight the entire data set, every single data values in your data set, and close it, right? And then you get a mean. So 68.57, that's the mean. Median, you can also calculate the median here, right? Just type in median, then highlight the entire data set, A5 to A18, then close parentheses, then you calculate the median. Okay, and we can easily locate. So the median should be average of middle 2, right? So those two are middle 2. If you average 64 and 66, you get 65. Okay, and then the mode. So about the mode, right? The only thing about the mode is Excel couldn't capture. Let's say you have multiple mode. You have more than one mode. The Excel will only present the first mode located. So if you do multiple mode, okay, Then you just highlight the entire data set. Let's see if there's a mode here. There is, right? 62 is the mode and 62. But what if we have more than one mode? Then you have to put the missing ones right next to it, right? Let's say there's another mode somewhere, then you have to, Excel can only locate one of them, the first one, right? We'll miss the rest of them. Okay. And the range, you can calculate this using maximum value minus minimum value. So you highlight an entire table, and Excel will find the maximum value among the data set. Also type in the mean, meaning you want to find the minimum value. Same thing, we highlight the entire table, entire data set. Okay. Then maximum minus minimum, that's a range. Okay, 38. We can double check. It's 89 minus 51. That turned out to be 38. That's right. Okay, so now our variance. Variance, you got to do VAR, right? VAR representing variance, and then we are dealing with a sample. So we have two different type of variance. One of them is for population, one of them is for sample. And this is definitely a sample, right? 14 temperature definitely is not an entire population. It's a sample, so gotta be var.s, then open parentheses, then highlight the entire data set. Okay, close it. Okay, then we get that. Okay, 120.1. If you want one more decimal, you just have to round it to a certain decimal places, right? If you want more decimal, you can just increase it, right? If you want less decimal, right, like this one, you want, let's keep it consistent, only 2 decimal, or this. And the standard deviation, again, without just using the formula, is STDEV, meaning standard deviation. ST represents standard, DEV representing deviation, standard deviation. And again, we're dealing with the sample.s, okay, and then open parentheses, and then highlight the entire data set. Okay, then close it, right? So you get a standard deviation right away without going through the detailed calculation. But still, I'm going to show you how to go through the detailed calculation to get this. Okay, so here, if you want to calculate the standard deviation step by step, I'm going to copy the data set. Okay, I'm going to put it right next to it. I'm going to label this X, right? Remember, using the shortcut formula, only need 2 columns. So we need X squared here. So now, format it a little bit. Okay. Load it. You can try this yourself as well. Copy that data set, put it on next, right next to it. And I'm using 16. Okay. So we just need to square each one of these. So square 51, right? So using the cell number, E22 squared it. Okay, that you get 2601. So now once you do one of them, just use the formula to compute the rest of them. Okay, so you get all of that, right? So next thing, we just need a total. Okay. Again, we format this really quickly. Let's get a total. Okay, total of all the X values is using auto sum, right? Get that 960. Total of X squares is 67,390. So let's calculate the standard deviation underneath it. So remember the sample size here. Sample size is 14. Okay, that's also needed. Now once you have all this, we're ready to calculate the standard deviation using Excel. Okay.
Did you just
Yes, go ahead.
did you just type the 14 or did you calculate that?
I just type the 14. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just type it. Yeah. Or if you want to do count yourself, you can do that. You do equal sign, do count. Type in count. Because in the question it tells us 14, right? What if we have a data set or we have no idea how many data values are there? let's say it's a huge data set, you can just highlight the entire data set and go down there. Okay, and then counting that Excel counted for you, so you don't have to do the work, right? So the count 14, right? It is the same. All right, so now calculate standard deviation. So the formula is we do square root because there's a square root, so it's SQRT, right? SQRT represents square root. And you're going to put an open first parentheses. That's for the numerator over denominator. Now you're going to put numerator in the parentheses. So again, you do 14 times summation of x squared, right? I'm using all the cell numbers minus summation x squared. That's numerator, and denominator it's this times this one minus one. Okay. Now we close the denominator. Now we also need to close the entire parentheses. So this is the proper input in terms of calculating the standard deviation. Then once you do that, then you enter 10.96. Right? If you run it to 2 decimal places, should be exactly the same. Okay. Double check that it should be exactly the same. Okay. And then the variance, if you really want to confirm the variance yourself, you could just square the standard deviation, right? Variance is equal to standard deviation square. Okay, get that 120.11. You have the same number using the formula, and then did it yourself step by step to give us the exact same result. So again, let me just resize it a little bit. Okay. I don't need that. So I'm gonna just decrease 2 decimal places. Yeah, here goes same day. Okay. I just want to show you, quick something. The procedure of calculating the standard deviation in Excel. Now we have all this work ready, and next thing is find the z-score, right? So z-score. In order to calculate z-score, we need a couple things. We need a mean. We already know that. We need a standard deviation. We know those. Okay. These two are the most important things. So let me highlight that. Use a different color, so you know that we're going to utilize those two to calculate the mean and the standard deviation. Put in the green, I guess. So z-score one more time. Okay. So we have 14 numbers. So that means we get to do 14 calculation. But we don't have to do that, right? We only have to do one of them using the absolute reference. So if you don't want to do all 14 calculations step by step, then use a formula, use absolute reference. So watch. So now here we do, we're using the data value. The first data value 51, right? Minus the mean. And now here, if you want to save some time and get it done, pretty effectively, then do absolute reference, meaning put a $sign in front of the C, the column, put a $sign in front of the row number. Then we lock the cell, meaning you're telling the Excel, in order to calculate all this z-score, we always go back to cell C21 for the mean, and then cell C26 for the standard deviation. Okay, now we close it and divide by standard deviation. Again, you're gonna lock it, right? Put a $sign here, put a $sign here. And the only thing changes here is the data value itself, right? From one data value to the next one. But the mean and the standard deviation remains the same. Now here enter, you get a z-score. And typically you decrease the z-score to 2 decimal places. That's convention. But once you calculate one of them, then you can just drag it, right? Calculate the rest of them. Okay, then we gotta go back. We're doing too much. Okay, should be stopped somewhere here. I guess it's right here. Let's see. It's A15. Let's see A15. Okay, I guess we didn't complete all of them. We gotta do all the way to A18, right? So A15 is not good enough. So we're gonna miss 3 more. Okay. Get all these score. Make sure you know the last one is A18, right? Which is the last data value in our data set. Okay. Now you double check.
Right, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you don't have to highlight the like A1 through A18, you just have to do the mean and that will give you that to drag it in order to drag it down.
No, you just have to put in one formula.
Okay, got it.
This one. Then you drag it, right? You're gonna get the rest of them. Okay, then the last thing, we're gonna run it to 2 decimal places. That's convention for z-score. So you go to format cells, highlight the entire all the z-scores, and then go to format cells, then click on the numbers, 2 decimal. Okay. Now you'll be nice table, right, with the 2 decimal for the z-score. Okay. If you want to put in the, if you want to put in type table, just indicating, you can also just put a z-score right next to that, right? If you don't want to put it underneath it, you know, maybe right next to that, it's easier. You can just do it here, right? Let me just do it one more time. So z-score, I guess that's more convenient for a lot of you guys. Here, let me just format it. So that's 14. So I keep it 14. So one more time, I'm going to do z-score. So using this open parentheses, using this minus mean. Okay. So then we lock it, right? Lock the cell. Okay, close it. Dividing by standard deviation. Also lock it. Okay. Close it. Okay, good to go. Then just drag it. Once you complete one of them with the absolute reference, then you can get a result for the rest of them. And then again, format it. Numbers, 2 decimal. Yep, good to go. I guess that should be probably easier. You know, you put in the z-score right next to the number itself, so you have the matching, you know, z-scores. If you want to do that, right, that's an option. All right, do you have any question on the Excel operations or on anything, right, on the content? If anything puzzles you, let me know.
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
For when I'm trying to calculate the mean, I get spill. What does that mean?
Spill. Did you highlight the entire data? Do not include the title, right? If you're including the title, then you see the title is a word. It's like the string. So Excel won't recognize that.
Okay.
Only the numbers. So from 51 to 89, that's it. So if you want to get the numerical numbers, all the numbers must be numerical. Okay. Try that, see if that fixes the problem.
I got it. Thank you.
No problem. Any other question? Okay, so definitely, right? This week you should finish all the homework and then the quizzes from chapter 3. Yeah. So because we have a week off, so definitely we finish all of this. And also the project number 2, right? You'll be able to finish that. Okay, you can finish that during the class while I put you guys into the breakout room. If you have any difficulty with your project, let me know. I'll help you out. All right, any other questions before I put you in the breakout room? Okay. All right, and then I put you guys in the breakout room in a second.
I have a question real fast.
Sure thing, sure.
So if we finished our project and turned it into you, do we have to stay in the breakout room?
No, you don't have to. That
Okay.
means you're good to go, right? So if you have any homework questions, you can also ask me during the breakout sessions. Yeah. I'm more than happy to help you with any of your questions. Okay. All right. Okay. Breakout room. Talk to me if you have any questions. Okay. And submit your project number to today, right? Okay. Hey, Neil.
Hi, Professor.
So you still couldn't figure out the.
Oh, yeah, it's so unfortunate. I think it really is my computer, because I feel like because I tried to do the pivot table and I tried to do the histogram where I'll share my screen.
Okay, sure. All
I
right.
tried to do the histogram where it would like not show the in between, and I couldn't. And like it said here, let me just take you through what I did. So it says for the pivot table on Google Sheets, you're supposed to press explore,
Okay.
and then it's supposed to just a pivot table is supposed to be in here, or it's supposed to say more, and mine just doesn't say that. Like if I say more, like this is all it will give me.
Okay. No worry, right? I won't penalize you with this.
Okay.
You submit this as a project, you get it. You get credit for it.
Thank
So
you.
no
So
worry.
this,
Not
and
very
I
hard.
did, I did all of this too with all of the
Yeah, good. That's good. Very good.
So
Yes.
does this
Yeah.
all look good?
Yeah. Look.
Am
Yes.
I missing anything?
The Z-score, right? Did you do the Z-score?
The what?
The Z-score.
Oh, the Z-score. I didn't realize we had to do that for this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. You have to do that. Yeah. So,
okay.
if you want to, yeah, you can quickly complete that. Yeah, so,
Okay. Do you mind just helping me start off just because we just did that?
yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Do I have to do it right next to this, or can I do it
You
like,
don't have to. You don't. You can put it underneath it.
can I put it right here?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Or here? I'll put it right here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Z-score.
Yep. Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna help you do one of them and good.
Okay.
So
Well,
please-
yeah, I think I got the equation. Do I just start with the equal sign?
Yeah, you put equal
Okay,
sign,
equal, and
parentheses,
then the first, which is this,
right? And
right? Minus, and then the
mean,
mean,
right?
which is this, and then I put
Dollar sign in front of it.
dollar sign
Good,
in front of
good.
the D,
Mhm.
and then close, and then that,
Divide
right?
by standard deviation. Yeah.
And then the
Mhm.
standard deviation, which is this.
Okay. And put dollar sign in front of B.
Dollar sign. Oh, oops. Dollar sign,
Okay. And
and
close.
then close.
Enter.
And then,
Just drag it, right? Yeah, it should be good.
wait,
I think you need one more. Yeah.
one more. Oh,
Yeah, right. Just one more. Yeah. One more. Yeah.
that's good, right?
No, actually, you one more, right? You see, you start with a
Oh, I see.
yeah. Okay, then you have all the Z-score. Good.
Okay. And then is my project complete right now?
Yep, I think so. Yeah, just let me double check everything. I think so. Yeah, just
And then just a reminder, my pivot.
Let me look at the frequency. Select one of the frequencies. No.
Oh.
Okay, it's good. You can.
Okay. So just a reminder, my pivot table doesn't work and this doesn't.
Yeah, I know. I remember. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for helping me.
No problem, Neil. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Keep up the good work. All right.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Hey, Kiara.
Hi, good morning. I just had a question about for the project.
Sure.
There's a second sheet with a histogram of class. What do we have to do with that?
Second sheet. You don't need a second sheet. You can just delete it. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a first sheet. Everything on the first.
And so it says, hold on. Oh, it says construct. Oh, I'll share my screen. Okay, sorry. There we go.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Yeah, I can see that. You're doing good work. Yes, this is good. All good. Yeah.
I did the C-score next to the.
Right, you can do that. Totally. Just run it to two decimal places. That'll be
Okay.
awesome. Okay.
And is the standard deviation okay? Because I don't
Yeah,
know
it's
if it's.
good. Yes, I looked over that already. Yes, it's all good. Yep.
And it's 6 classes, right?
Yeah, exactly. 6 classes.
Okay,
Perfect.
perfect. So
Great.
then I think I'm good. I'll just round it up to 2
Yeah,
decimals.
run it up to 2.
Okay, and this I can delete it because it.
Yeah, you can delete it. I guess it just yeah, you can delete it. It's not needed. Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
very good. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
No, I think
You good?
yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Thank you. Have a great
Problem.
rest of your week.
You too. Have a nice week. Okay. Kiana.
Hello.
Hey, I was with your other classmates. I just okay. All right. Um,
Yeah.
any question?
My question is, I saw how you made the frequency table, but it was like kind of fast, so I wanted to go over the steps on like how to create it again.
Okay, sure, no problem. Yeah, you can share your screen with me, so I can walk you through step by step. Can you do that? Share the screen
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
for some. Okay, try that right now. Oh, it works. Yeah, I can see your screen now.
So I tried to make this histogram and it came out like really, really big.
Okay.
And
You can
yeah.
resize it, right? Yeah, you can
yeah.
just put it on the bottom right-hand corner when you see you can from there you can resize it.
Okay.
Just
But first I wanted to like go over like the frequency table, like how you did like the pivot and everything. Yeah.
sure, definitely. Okay, so first of all, you're gonna delete that. Good. Okay, and I deleted. You don't need this frequency histogram, right? We're gonna construct a histogram from the pivot table. Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
It says cannot enter null, but it's like I'm not trying to enter. I'm just trying to delete it, but it won't let me.
Okay. That's okay. Maybe go back. We need to create we need to delete a histogram first before we can delete that. So leave it there, and just go delete this histogram first. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No, you can't. Are you using the Mac?
No, I'm using a Lenovo on a PC.
Okay, Lenovo. Okay. It's a PC. Okay. That should be easier though. It's the same setting as my Windows, so it's good. So it doesn't allow you to delete it.
No, it's like every time I click it, it just like tells me no.
Maybe let's work with the graph first. Let's try to delete a graph. See if that's possible.
Okay, and then it tells me no. I'm just
okay. Why is that? And this is your beginning point, right? Is this the beginning point, or you did a lot of work underneath it? Let me see.
I did.
You did all the work here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Okay, so now for some reason it doesn't allow you to delete it. When you insert a pivot table, did you go to insert and then maybe go to insert one more time? Then yeah, okay, it's not available now. Or maybe go to data. No, pivot table analyze. You see the pivot table analyze? No, it's next to design. You see that? Yeah, good. Click on that. Pivot table analyze.
It won't let me.
No, it's here. It's on top, right next to help.
Next to help.
Help and design. It's one of the title. No, it's on top. You see, yeah, no, it's on the same row of insert, draw, page layout, formulas, data, review, view. Yeah, right. Pivot table and analyze. Variance. Very good. Now go to options. You see options?
Mhm.
Yeah, okay, click on that. No, nothing come up, right? How about field settings? Click on field settings. No, nothing.
No.
It should allow us to modify though. Okay. That's weird. But
Yeah.
let's see. Maybe click on pivot table. Under options. Under options.
It won't let me.
Won't let you. Then try. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. Good. I think that's a drop down menu. Okay. Now click on options. You see when you see the drop down menu.
Yeah, it won't let me. Maybe I can just. I don't have a problem like, copying pasting the project into like another Excel sheet. Like
Yeah.
I remember how to do that.
That would be nice. That would be nice. So let's do that. Let's
Okay.
copy and paste into the new Excel file.
So should I
You can even go to yeah, for some reason. Yes.
it won't let me leave that one either.
Okay. You can just close all that, right? No.
Cannot quit. It won't let me leave.
You can hold on to Control on the keyboard, Control Alt and delete.
Control Alt and then delete.
Yeah, right. Do you see anything?
I see lock screen, switch user, sign out, and task manager.
Task manager, right? Very good. And then you can close the program, close the Excel program from there. Then you'll be able to exit.
Okay.
Good, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. So now you can copy and then paste into the new. Just open the Excel file, and then you'll be able to copy paste into that.
Okay.
Kiana, one of your classmates need help. Maybe I'll come back to you, right? Just
Okay.
copy that first, and I'll come back to you as soon as I finish with her. Does
Okay.
that work? Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I'll be back in a second.